welcome to our video on Paultons Park. We got to the park for opening, and the plan was to head straight across to Peppa Pig World, as we've found in the past that this area gets quite busy over the course of the day, which is understandable really, as Peppa Pig is one of their big IPs. Because it gets very busy, the queues obviously build up, and with little ones that's the last thing you want. Fortunately for us, because we were on a 2-day short break, it did mean that we could actually focus one of the days on Peppa Pig, and then our second day we could spend going around the rest of the park and hitting some of the other rides and areas. Windy Castle is almost like a multi-armed big wheel, and crossed with a sort of teacups ride, because each individual sort of cloud pod that you sit in can be spun to your heart's content, and depending on how vigorous you want the ride. But it is a great one just to sit and just admire the view. What's great about Peppa Pig World is there are loads and loads of sort of character meet and greets, and they'll appear from time to time around the land, and you're free to just go up to them, say hello, have a photo, and you know, for the kids that little interaction's absolutely fantastic, and both my girls loved it. With this land being designed solely for the younger age group, I think 99% of the rides in there everybody can go on, and I mean even young babies, providing they are accompanied by an adult. I think the only ride that actually has a height restriction is George's dinosaur ride. One thing that will become more and more obvious throughout the video is the amount of attention, detail and theming that goes into all of the lands at Paultons Park. It is genuinely phenomenal, and is probably some of the best themed lands outside of the Disney parks that I've ever visited. So as mentioned before, this is one of the rides that does have a height restriction. Children under 0.85 metres can't ride. Children under 1.1 metre must ride in the front seat of the dinosaur and be accompanied by a responsible adult. Any children over 1.1 metre must ride alone in the rear seat of the dinosaur, which means there is nowhere for the adult to sit, and unfortunately adults are not allowed to ride this on their own, so they would have to sit out and just watch their child go round.
Silly Daddy.
What topping would everyone like on their pancake?
Can I have blueberries on my pancake?
Good choice, Peppa. I think I'll have apples on mine.
I'd like a squeeze of lemon on my pancake.
Dinosaur.
Think of a fruit you'd like on your pancake, George.
Strawberry.
George loves strawberries.
This is one of those rides where you get a nice bird's eye view of the land, and it's a good one to work out roughly where everything is, and you can almost spot where the crowds are congregating and work out where the queues are shorter. And on top of that, certainly my two kids enjoyed being part of the royal family and waving down at their royal subjects. Grandpa Pig's Little Train is a little train themed to Gertrude, his miniature locomotive from the cartoon. It's a relatively short circuit, but you do get to go around twice, and because it's not massive, the queues tend to move pretty quick. Grampy Rabbit's Sailing Club tends to be one of those rides that always seems to have a long queue. Now, it's kind of balanced out because the ride length on this is actually very, very good, so it's a good excuse to sit down, take the weight off, enjoy being spun round a lazy river and checking out the fantastic theming and scenery as you go round. Daddy Pig's Car Ride is your classic single track car ride. Obviously this one's themed to Peppa Pig, and to be honest it's a fantastic combination. You can't go wrong, it's a nice gentle ride, all age groups can enjoy it, particularly the young ones sitting at the front pretending to drive. You can see on the video how serious my youngest is taking it. She is genuinely loving every minute of it. Grandpa Pig's boat trip, you sit in a little boat on a fixed arm to a central lighthouse, and you go around several rotations on that, nice and slow, bobbing up and down on actual water, which is very nice. It makes a nice sound, and it's, you know, it's just a nice gentle ride for the family to enjoy. So coming out of Peppa Pig World and heading back towards the main entrance, you come to this sort of food court area where there's places to eat in, and there's some ice creamy sort of places, there's sort of takeout areas that you can sit under the umbrellas and have something to eat. We're currently just heading back towards Tornado Springs, but over on the right hand side under that little white tent area is a sort of stage where they have a couple of shows on during the day that you can sit down and have a bit of a rest as well. Al's Auto Academy is a kids driving school. 6 to 12-year-olds can take part in this on their own and drive the vehicles under their own control. Younger children can have an adult come and sit on the back of the car. There's a special seat designed on the back of the car for adults to sit on, with the younger child in charge of the steering and the adult required to press the accelerator and be in control of the power for that. Now, my youngest thoroughly enjoyed Daddy Pig's car ride in Peppa Pig World, so for her to be able to get behind the wheel of an actual car she can steer properly herself, she absolutely loved it, and we ended up buying a photo driver's license from it. Storm Chaser is a family spinning coaster. It's a fantastic ride. Whilst it's not massive and classed as extreme or built for the adrenaline junkies, after all, this is a family park aimed mainly at families and younger children. This is a brilliant ride for them to cut their teeth on roller coasters, and let's be honest, who doesn't love a family spinning coaster? Tornado Springs is one of the newer themed areas within the park, and it genuinely shows it is absolutely first class. It's been designed to look like a 1950s Midwest desert resort town, and they have done an absolutely brilliant job. It's rustic and has a lot of charm at the same time. It is genuinely brilliant. Farmyard Flyer is a nice introductory roller coaster for children to get on. Whilst it's not overly tall in height, it does actually pick up a decent bit of speed, so kids will feel like they've really achieved something when they get off. Buffalo Falls is a dinghy slide. Now the queues for this tend to be quite big and the ride itself is only short. Whilst it's okay, I'm not entirely sure it's worth the queuing. Trekking Tractors is a beautifully themed single track car ride, but obviously you're in a tractor this time. It genuinely is a very, very pretty ride to drive around, especially at the time of year when we went. And with my girls being called Daisy and Poppy, we enjoy trying to spot any flowers that obviously tied up with their names. The big kid in me absolutely loves a train, so if there's ever a train in a theme park, I have to go on it. And this one is a nice little gentle ride that will take you round Tornado Springs and then round the back of Peppa Pig World. It is a good excuse to sit down and just let the world pass you by. Lovely little ride. Caterpillar coaster is over in the Critter Creek area, which is just off from the main entrance really, and just down from Tornado Springs. Now my girls absolutely loved this ride. It's probably the ride they went on the most over the 2 days while we were there. They would go on it and they would queue straight back up to go on it again. And the beautiful thing about it is the queue never actually seemed to be that big. Coming out of Critter Creek, we decided to continue heading back towards the entrance, as the other side of the park is on the other side of the entrance. And en route, we managed to walk past Ghostly Manor, which is the newest attraction this year, and the queue didn't seem so bad, so we thought, why not, let's give that a go and see what it's all about. Ghostly Manor does actually have an age restriction on this one, so children under 5 cannot ride, and at the time of filming my youngest wasn't quite 5, and as we'd never been on it before, we basically didn't want to put her through something that she might not like anyway. The ride itself is a dark ride, indoor shooting game, and it's a mixture of projection screens and physical props. It is a very, very good addition to the park. The ride itself is made up of 2 rings, an inner ring which you can see here, which is a mixture of projection screens and physical props and sets, and so you'll end up shooting in here, and then the car ride itself will sort of spin round and then it will be a projection screen and it is purely just shooting at a screen. You'll then do that scene and then move on again and face the inner screen again, which will be another practical set. If you carry on watching the video you'll know what I mean, and that will explain it far better than I am doing. So heading over towards Lost Kingdom, which is the other side of the park, just before you get to this gateway we've just gone through, on the left hand side is a fantastic splash park. So if you wanted to, you could bring swimming costumes and have a really nice time in there if the weather was good. Splash Lagoon is an incredibly themed little log flume ride. It's only got a relatively small single drop, but you do actually get surprisingly wet. Now the reason you get wet is not necessarily as you go down the main drop, it is as somebody else goes down the main drop and they soak you from behind, just as what has happened to us right here. The Sky Swimmer is a nice chair-a-plane ride. Again, with it being a family park, it's not massive, but you do get a good ride cycle on it. And what I particularly like is the double seats, so my wife and our youngest can sit next to each other on this ride, which is great. So incredibly proud dad moment as my 4.5-year-old is about to take on her first big roller coaster, and not only is it a big roller coaster, it is a suspended roller coaster. Spoiler, she said she enjoyed it, however, she didn't rush to go back on it again. Boulder Dash is a flat spinning ride that follows a figure of 8 configuration with the individual cars each spinning as well. I can't really comment, but my family seem to really enjoy it, hence the big smiles and the waves. I know I've not filmed any of the other queue rides, but look at it, it's got dinosaurs in it, what's not to love? As for the ride itself, Velociraptor is a steel shuttle coaster. You will be reversing out of the station up a lift hill. You'll then be released, go flying back through the station and go around a circuit and then up a spike where you'll do the whole ride in reverse. All in all, a really nice addition to this side of the park. This is probably the closest you will get to the Jeep ride that John Hammond envisioned in the original Jurassic Park, without the crazy attacks of the dinosaurs. What's brilliant about this ride as well, there is onboard audio in the car as you drive around, and it points out things of interest, and it even interacts or certainly mentions about the rides nearby as well, which is great. Nice little kiddie coaster themed to a Triceratops. A short circuit, but on the plus side you get to go around 3 times. Both my girls enjoyed this one too. Magma is a spinning drop tower. You actually get quite a good cycle on this. It's a good one to sit and look at the construction work of the new Vikings land that's going to be opening in 2026 at Paultons. Magma and Cobra, I believe, are going to be either renamed or certainly re-themed to fit in that Viking area. So it's going to be a very different landscape looking out from over this ride come 2026. Cobra is a really good family bobsled coaster, and I'm really looking forward to seeing this being integrated and re-themed into the new Viking area in 2026, as the ride itself is very, very good, but just lacks that theming that's with all the other rides in Paultons. So hopefully this will just elevate it to another level. Heading back from the Lost Kingdoms towards the main entrance again, you go through this lovely garden area that actually has a few animals in as well. Because we were towards the end of the day at this point, we didn't really stop and look. However, we thought we'd have a quick look at this pen over here on the left, and thought we'd have a look at the rare species that is the lesser spotted grass cutter. In between Critter Creek and Tornado Springs, there is a couple of flat rides, one of which being this absolutely beautiful Victorian carousel. The carousel is actually a double-decker one, so it has these horses on the upper deck, and then lower down it's a combination of horses, carriages, and I think there's a couple of spinning teacups as well. So assuming you clicked the video because of the thumbnail and the title Best Family Park, let's take a moment to answer that question. Well, certainly in our opinion, we absolutely love this park, and I would probably say that by a country mile, this is definitely the best family park in the UK, and it's only going to get better with all the additions that they keep bringing each year. 100% worth a visit, so if you've got younger children, book it. That's all I can say. I recommend just book it. That about wraps it up for this video, so thank you for getting this far and for watching. If you wouldn't mind hitting like and subscribe, and hopefully we'll have some more videos for you in the future.